right after eating, doctors tell us don't run, don't this, don't that. It's going to affect your heart health, it's going to affect your digestion. So moving on to the next part of our heart health is another doctor coming up to us. This is Dr. Maria Peter. She's a doctor who specializes in internal medicine with Caramount. A loving mom and a community supporter. Today she's here to talk to us about cardiac health. With the clocks ruling our lives and the way our lives are going crazy, I think we all need to be aware of our healthy hearts and how to deal with things that come up. Let's see what she has to say to us. If you could just give me one more minute. This phone was found outside and handed to me by one of the kids running around. If you have lost it, please step up in front and take it from me. Thank you. Dr. Peter.
You have a good introduction.
Hello everyone. Before I start, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate and appreciate all the efforts of Shakti Corp and every single person who had put in their effort to make this event a success. And I'm glad to be a part of it. Alright, a little information about myself. I did my med school in Keelpot Medical College, Chennai, India. And I completed my residency in internal medicine at Guthrie Clinic, Robert Packer Hospital, Pennsylvania. And in 2013, we moved to North Carolina. And since then, I've been working as a hospitalist in Caramount Health. So I'm more inpatient medicine. All right, so let's start. What is cardiac arrest? So cardiac arrest is triggered by electrical malfunction in the heart, which results in irregular heart rhythm. As you know, the heart has to pump or contract in a rhythmic fashion. So because of electrical malfunction in the heart, if the heart tends to quiver or gets into irregular heart rhythm, then it cannot effectively pump the blood out. So when there is decreased cardiac output, there is less blood supply to the brain, there is loss of consciousness and abnormal absent breathing. And if it is not treated within minutes, then it can result in death. Can we move this a little behind? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe the podium can come. That's good. Thank you. Alright, so cardiac arrest becomes more common with age. It affects males more commonly than the females. Okay, as you can see from this picture, the number one cause of death in US is sudden cardiac arrest. And this is closely followed by stroke. Alright, so what's the pathophysiology behind it? So cardiac arrest. So there is decreased or defective electric malfunction of the heart. So this results in the heart to quiver. So when the heart starts quivering, there is no effective contractions. So the blood supply or the cardiac output diminishes. So when there is decrease in cardiac output, the brain does not get enough blood supply and you have loss of consciousness. So the brain cells are very sensitive. So it cannot withstand hypoxia or loss of blood supply even for a few seconds. So in 15 seconds, you lose consciousness. And if you don't correct it, in 4 minutes, there is brain cell death. And in 7 minutes, it becomes irreversible. So in 1 to 2 hours, the rest of the cells of the body die as well. So that's why CPR becomes so important in the initial few seconds, because you can literally save the patient's life, and it is which will determine the outcome of a cardiac arrest. Okay, moving on to the causes of cardiac arrest. So this can be broadly divided as cardiac or extracardiac. When it is cardiac, it could be because of defective blood supply. So we all know heart is the major pumping organ. It pumps blood to all the organ systems in our body. But for the heart to effectively contract, it also requires good blood supply. As you can see from this picture, heart is supplied by 3 major arteries. If there is a blockage in any of these arteries that supply the heart, it puts the heart at stress, at risk, and this can cause defective contraction, again can result in cardiac arrest. The second common cause is the structural heart disease. So heart is just not blood, it has the muscle, it has the other structures, it has the valves. If any of these are defective, then it can cause abnormal heart rhythm, and that can potentially lead to cardiac arrest. And then the improper conducting system. Heart is a very wired organ. So if there is a problem with the conducting system of the heart, the electrical system of the heart, that again can result in improper conduction, improper contraction, and can cause cardiac arrest. So there are extracardiac causes. I will come and discuss about this in a later slide. Alright, let's talk about defective blood supply. This is popularly called as heart attack. The other names being coronary artery disease, ischemic heart disease. So heart attack is one of the most common cause of cardiac arrest. It is responsible for about 62 to 70% of sudden cardiac deaths. It is less frequent in younger age group, and this is because of high-grade stenosis or obstruction of the major coronary arteries which supply the heart. So what I mean by this is because of obstruction in the blood vessels that supply the heart. So heart also needs good blood supply to function. So when there is a blockage, then the heart gets stressed out, gets into abnormal rhythm, and that can cause cardiac arrest. So heart attack is a circulatory issue. So heart attack is not synonymous with cardiac arrest. Okay, the most important point, or one of the most important points that I would drive in today is heart attack is not synonymous with cardiac arrest, but it is one of the most common cause that can cause a cardiac arrest. So it is a circulatory issue, it is defective blood supply to the heart, which is heart attack, and this causes electrical malfunction of the heart, which can result in a cardiac arrest. Alright, so a little few information about heart attack. So, if you have a heart attack, how does it present? Normally, it is a pain which is felt behind the breastbone or to the left side of the heart. And it can radiate or travel down the left arm or up to the left side of the neck or the jaw. And it is more an exertional kind of pain. So what I mean by exertional pain is it increases with activity and it improves, may not completely resolve, but it improves with rest. And you can have associated symptoms like shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, nausea, vomiting, sweating. You can have all these symptoms. So what do? When you see somebody with typical symptoms, or let's say you yourself experience these symptoms, first thing is you sit down.